Doctor Doom. He's here. He's here, and everyone's losing their mind one way or another way. I'm part of the. I'm like in the middle. I'm very excited to have Doctor Doom here, but me having a little bit of worries and things like that, I got like super attacked like crazy. I guess we can't have our own opinions anymore. But I think it's so much the fact that people are like, just be happy he's here. He doesn't need to build up. I get it. It's just, I don't know. Some people feel a little different, but I'm just gonna get into the debate and why people feel this way and that way, and kind of why it's plausible on some points. And yeah, I mean, I want this to work. I love Doom, and I want Doomsday to be awesome. But we're gonna hear, what is this? Sammy J Reacts. He pops up a lot. He's gonna talk a little bit about that, and we'll get into it.
The panic over Avengers Doomsday having no build-up has officially gone out of control. You got a lot of people screaming, there's no build-up, Doom is rushed, Marvel's just mashing the Robert Downey Jr. break glass in case of emergency button. That last one's actually kind of valid though, because I had that same thought when they announced he was returning. I actually prefer that argument over this build-up argument, because I think that's just a fundamental misunderstanding of what's going on. Like, people are hyper fixated on no build-up for the villain, when you can point to like any villain in any cinematic motion picture ever being introduced in the first movie and making an impact. They didn't need build up then. But instead of focusing on the villain, you should be focusing at the wider universe and the saga at large. Case in point, the Infinity Saga. I mean, yeah, Thanos was the big bad, sure.
So I get it. I understand what they're saying. A bad guy could just show up. He's bad. We don't need a build up or whatever. What's crazy? Like, I'm not saying Marvel's doomed. I'm not saying, no pun intended, I'm not saying Doom can't work, but I'm saying Doom is one of the biggest villains in comic book history. Like, naturally, people are going to expect a lot. And that's not fair to Doctor Doom or to the people making the movie, but it's just the way it is. And, you know, if you've read these comics your whole life and just watched everything with it, and someone likes Doctor Doom like myself, you'd kind of understand why people have like a knee-jerk reaction and not be like, oh, and it's not saying someone's a bigger comic fan than you are or this or that. It's just maybe someone just feels a little different and they're kind of worried about the way they're going to do him. Now, they're going to do him dirty. Who knows? They might do him great. I don't know. They might do him great. I think people think I got really criticized for thinking too deep into the character and too deep into the movies. And like, this is what I do. That's kind of what I do. And I always tell everybody my escape is, you know, looking at these movies, talking about them, debating them, dissecting them. That's kind of the whole point. I dig into them a lot deeper because I feel a little deeper than some people. Some people might feel the same way. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm just talking about what I feel. But I figure that's why comic fans, you know, exist. I seen like the biggest argument really is every villain doesn't need to build up like Thanos, and I agree. I 100% agree. Not every villain needs 10 years. And a lot of people say, well, he only popped up in these movies, and the stones were connected to him, so the stones were kind of like every, you know, part, you know, and all that. I get it. And if they just threw Thanos in a movie, I would probably be upset too, though. The problem is not every villain is Doctor Doom. I mean, we're talking grand scheme things. This is Doctor Doom, one of the most greatest villains in comic book history. He is up there. He is the king. Actually, he's a god. And what's weird is a lot of people brought up Darth Vader, and this blew me the fuck away. It's probably the worst one I've heard. They say he appeared in A New Hope. Nobody knew he was. He was had no background. He was such a badass and stuff. No, he wasn't. For real. Like, Darth Vader had probably about 6 scenes or so, I think, something like that. He wasn't central mastermind that we know and love today at all. There is nothing like that. He has a simple lightsaber duel that we learn way later in time that it's important. And actually, what makes it better is the cartoon Clone Wars makes that better. And then also Revenge of the Sith and other things that made it better. But watching Darth Vader the first time, there's nothing. We just threw a bad guy in there. And you can't compare, oh, he's so huge. It's just like Doctor Doom. No. It's nothing like Doctor Doom. He wasn't Luke's father yet. He wasn't connected to Leia. We knew nothing about the Clone Wars. Nothing about Anakin in his past. It was just nothing about his fall. We didn't know. So when you watched it, yeah, we were just like, here's a bad guy. We weren't like, people weren't going to argue and say, why is Darth Vader in the first movie? We didn't know who the fuck he was. Of course not. It's a horrible argument to put against it. I mean, at the end of the movie, he just gets shot out and spins away, and it's like, Granted, we knew it was number 4, which was confusing already. He would probably come back, maybe another villain. We don't know. Who knows what people thought back then? Or even ask someone that did see it back then, what did they think? Did they think, oh, that's it? Or why is it number 4? Or where's 5? I don't know. But the Death Star explodes. He spins away. Like, okay, we didn't care. Or if you watch it, then you wouldn't care. Like, it's just a villain. Like, he had no depth where you actually like were like, oh yeah, it's like it took decades of movies, novels, comics, and television to make Vader into the legendary character we all know as today. Not that movie. That movie did not make him the character he is. Just watching that, you can't tell me I watched this movie only and I know he's a badass. I know he comes from this. I know he has pain. I know. No, you don't. It's a thing. And the problem is Doctor Doom entering the MCU has 60 years, 60 maybe, yeah, 6 decades of expectations attached to him. So that's really, really rough. And I think I kind of get why people, some people are worried because they want him represented correctly, you know, and I get it. And so far, so good. He looks represented, right? If that's his voice sounds good. He looks good. His power level's good. But issues come at hand with that, and that's kind of a thing. So comparing Vader's first appearance to Doom really isn't fair and doesn't make any sense. Like, you could even go with like the Joker, like, okay, 1989 Joker, and be like, oh, you know, Joker just shows up. No, it was a little different. It gives you Joker's origin, and not only that, it connects to Batman. Batman created Joker. Joker created Batman. It was this whole immediate rival, and the movie builds off the relationship from the beginning to the end. So it's a lot different from someone like Doom that's getting thrown into a world that's already been established, and there's a million other characters. So you kind of understand what some people are coming across, or why they're a little like, wait, this isn't like this, or this isn't like that. And then other people are bringing in these other examples, but the examples kind of fall flat, in my opinion, at least. Even with Heath Ledger's Joker, you could be like, well, they just tossed him in the middle of the Dark Knight. Granted, that was the whole point of him, was being like a mystery. He just was chaos. And us not knowing about him was part of what built the character. It was the idea. We just couldn't figure him out. And the chaos, that's what bugged Batman so much, and what frustrated his foes, I guess you would say. But the point is, him being unpredictable was like what was supposed to make him terrifying. And Doctor Doom isn't mysterious because he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to be him. That's not him. He's terrifying because we actually know about him. We know about him, and his history does kind of matter, and that's what builds up why he's so terrifying. So showing him just being overpowered and this and that, it's cool because I know, yeah, he's overpowered, or not overpowered. He's superpowered. He's a sorcerer and all these kind of things. But yeah, his first outing, like, he has history, so it's kind of like, wait, so we're just gonna get him, and you know. And then if you go into someone like Killmonger again too, like, fantastic villain, one of the Marvel's best villains. He has a personal story. He's fighting for Wakanda. He's seeking revenge. We get like a little flashback, challenging to T'Challa. He doesn't have to explain like suddenly he's gonna destroy universes or anything like that. His role fits the scale of the movie. It's nothing crazy, you know. So you could do that with villains. Doctor Doom is immediately entering somewhere where like something's already threatening the universe. Nothing like that happened when Killmonger came. It's a different level of storytelling, if you're catching my vibe. Like, Killmonger showing up just wasn't like, oh no, the whole world's ending right now and stuff. And you could go even bigger, like Red Skull for Captain America. It doesn't really work. Like, the movie establishes mainly Hydra, and it builds him. Red Skull is built for Captain America specifically, and he's supposed to be an opposite. His purpose isn't to become one of Marvel's greatest villains. He's known really, really well, but in the MCU, he wasn't built to become this huge villain that we all worry and, you know, freak out about. They got rid of him with the Cosmic Cube right away, and they didn't care about him. Even if he wanted to come back, I think Hugo even didn't want to do it again. But it was all done to launch Captain America's story. They weren't just throwing in a villain that had a lot of history and not gonna do much with him because they wanted to show his power level and all this stuff, but it was just to get Captain America going. Doom right now is not getting thrown to get anybody going. It's thrown to shake things up and give us a huge threat. That's why he's getting thrown into it. So it's a lot different. Doctor Doom is being like introduced at the climax of an entire saga, kind of, and those expectations are completely different than what Red Skull was doing and stuff like that. And one that's really deep for me, like, I think Marvel's big two villains, I think, are Doom and Magneto. So I started thinking like Magneto was introduced during the X-Men's first movie. So they're getting introduced at the same time as the X-Men. Everyone is new. And the audience is learning alongside the X-Men. We're all learning together at the same time. We know the history of all of them, but this is their new introduction. So they're not going into a world that's already been established. This is their first time in the world. We do sympathize with Magneto because we see they open it with the concentration camp, which is, if there's some flaws in the X-Men movies, that scene is amazing. Such a great scene. I can't tell you how much I think that scene is just captivating. And, you know, we do gain sympathy, and explains his beliefs, and we know him and Professor X have a history together. Their friendship already existed before the movie. The relationship becomes like this emotional core of the story, kind of. And unfortunately, Dr. Doom doesn't have that luxury. They might try to build on a rivalry with Reed, but I wouldn't think Reed would team up with them so fast. It's definitely not the rival we all know and love from the comics, because there's no way they would even work together. I mean, there have been times, I think, like when Sue was pregnant and stuff like that, and they've had to team up before, but I think it wouldn't be as easy for his first outing as Doom for them to be like, we are enemies forever, but now I trust them right now. Like, I don't know. I think they would build that up, but who knows? They might explain a history. Like him, he's entering like established universe full of heroes who've already saved reality multiple times. So it's kind of like different for him just showing up and being like, I'm going to save the realities. Again, it's like, dude, we've been here. But now it's like Thor was talking about him being a threat, which I think that's who he's talking about in the trailer. I've read the leaks of the script and all that, but I'm going off of the trailer. That, you know, these people have seen things, but Thor makes it like everything they went through was like nothing compared to this guy. And it's like, holy shit. Then that whole build up for Thanos losing all those people and all that was like nothing really compared to this guy. Like, you gotta at least be like, yeah, Thanos was a little hard, you know. Like, it's more so the Infinity Gauntlet than Thanos, so I get that. It's the stones, you know. But again, that argument kind of just falls flat. And then people bring up Ultron sometimes. Like, Ultron just came out of there, but Ultron actually gets set up inside of its own movie. Like, it makes sense. The audience watches him become self-aware. It's because Bruce and Tony are secretly building him. And that's part of the plot of not trusting people, and they're hiding it, that they're trying to build Ultron. And he scans the internet, he comes to the conclusion, humanity must die, and it's pretty simple, like Ultron type of story. Even though he's super powerful, nobody expects him to be the final boss of the MCU. We knew by the end of Age of Ultron coming up, he's gonna lose, and they're gonna be fine, and everything's gonna be alright. There's no sequel attached to it that's called, you know, Age of Ultron Revenge or something like that. His story was meant to push the Avengers storyline. It was meant to create vision, introduce Wanda, leads us to Civil War with the disagreements, even at the farmhouse. The Tony and Steve scene played a big part. He serves to set up a larger story. He's not getting put in there just to be a threat that is going to take out everybody. And like, oh, where did he come from? What's his powers? We all got that within the story. He doesn't need, like, we know in the comics he has a lot of history, but for him being created and his origins right there, and a lot of it deals with Avengers, and it just kind of builds up. But the craziest thing I think is Loki, that we don't really think about, is like, he's probably like the best example. Like, Marvel didn't rush him, all right? Like Thor, the Avengers, Dark World, Ragnarok, Infinity War, Loki, he's appeared in all these, and with those he's layered his character really, really good. And if anybody freaking debates me on this, that they didn't layer his character, they're crazy. Loki's one of the best developed characters in the MCU. He has done so well, and it goes a lot to Hiddleston. He's just an amazing actor and just ridiculous. But if he just appeared out of nowhere, like as the villain of the Avengers movie, we wouldn't really cared that much. Like, we're like, okay, cool, Loki's a villain, but kind of sucks that we don't, you know, he's got the scepter and he got it from someone and he's taking on everybody, and all right, he just wants to be a typical bad guy. Like, he wouldn't feel it. Like, audience really wouldn't care that much, to be real with you. Like, we'd be like, okay, Avengers here to win so we could go and watch the cool fights and whatever. It just wouldn't feel that vibe. He slowly built his way through it. He slowly was known through Thor and Dark World, and we got setups with the gyms and all those things, and it made Loki a kind of a nice payoff. We didn't need much, but nice enough payoff that we weren't like, oh, we're just gonna face this villain, I guess, in this movie. It's a big bad guy for this movie. It just wasn't super built. Like everyone's saying, oh, they need to have a bunch of movies. They don't need 10 years to make Doom. They don't. But at least gave Loki a little grace, and I think that's a good thing that they did, because maybe they could do it with Doom and build a lot off him further. But there are things I worry about building off him further, and I'll get to that. But for the most part, I think Doom's first appearance isn't like Loki's first outing. Loki's first outing was just a tragic story with Thor dealing with being the ugly stepchild, basically, and being upset with that. And he had just issues through the whole movie. It wasn't really much of a big fight, you know. Like, that's why I talk in one video about how I lost a lot of love for Thor growing up through the years, because I was like, man, it really wasn't that great of a movie. It's not horrible, but like, it's my whole point of that video was that our ratings could change on movies once they get older, from superhero movies, and that's not wrong, and that's okay. But whole thing is, Doom is different. He doesn't fight like with brute force, right? He plays chess. So if they're gonna make it like he's pulling strings behind all this, hence why they might release in-game in theaters with extra parts, I heard. It kind of sucks that we need DVD commentary to make a setup for a new movie. I don't like that ever. Or like the Russos have screwed up before and said, oh, that happened off screen. And it's like, I love the Russos, they're great, but like, I don't know, it's like with Ebony Maw being able to do what the Pym particles do to get Thanos and everyone to Earth or whatever to fight. People questioned that, and he just said, oh, it happened off Earth. And again, that's kind of like, all right, I guess we'll just take it as it is. And you kind of have to, you know, because that's the movie. It's done and over with. Some people have problems with we didn't see Spider-Man getting his origin on camera. I was fine with it, but people had problems with it. They didn't like that we didn't see it, and the Russos were like, no, we don't care really. It's not part of his story. Or it's part of his story, but it's not part of the journey we're doing right now. And I get that. I could follow that. And but that's something people really didn't like. So in other examples too, like Drax, his whole point is to kill Thanos. And there's times that you got to act like they failed these characters sometimes. And MCU has. I'm an MCU stan, dude. I'm all for MCU. But I'll call it out. I'll call it the bullshit when it's bullshit. Like, Drax should have had a moment. Even if we knew he was going to beat Thanos, we should have got a moment of him yelling out his family's name and stabbing him and letting out that rage and all that. He got a good conclusion in Guardians 3. He got Volume 3. He got a great conclusion. But I think we ignored the hype of him having so much hatred towards Thanos. They kind of stopped mentioning it through the movies, and it really failed the character, I feel like. Even though he still got, I think, a good ending. But far as like anyone that was invested in Drax or the comics or whatever, might have felt like you dropped the ball with that moment. And then the biggest drop in the ball, people hated that Hulk got his ass whooped by Thanos. And again, they had to remove Hulk because they couldn't have someone so powerful. I don't get why, but they do that a lot with Hulk or powerful people. Carol Danvers, she's gone. She's at another space, and she doesn't show up to when they need her. And Thor and Hulk are both away when Civil War happens. And these things have to happen because the power level and the scaling changes things. And they do this all the time. So I don't know, with the whole idea with Hulk having to be taken out, cool, whatever. He's out of the scenario, but they made him really weak. People hated that. I'm like, whatever, it's part of the story. I get it. But it does kind of suck that when he faces Thanos, he doesn't get that moment of redemption. Like, I don't care what anyone said, we all kind of thought it was coming. It doesn't ruin the movie. The movie's still great. It's fun. It's awesome. It's a great movie. But the storytelling failed in those aspects. Like, Hulk should have got a redeeming moment of fighting Thanos. Not beat him, but a redeeming moment, like setting up the fight or helping Cap at the end, or, you know, whatever. Setting it up for Steve or something, because... or getting good hits in, you know, because Hulk didn't get that. Of course, we had to have him get his arm injured, which I don't think they should have even done that. Made him Professor Hulk, and I get that because he had to help Ant-Man before Tony came in. If not, there was no real scientist to be there. So I get that, as far as storytelling. But again, I think another time they dropped the ball that people hated, and no one cried at them saying, why are you so mad that, you know, they didn't tell this story or they did the character dirty? And it's like, no, it's like, I get it. I understand where you're at. I can ignore it and just enjoy the movie for what it is. It makes sense why they didn't do it, because it would kind of throw off the beats of the film, and the ending would kind of throw it off a little bit to have Hulk just come in wailing. and especially that he'd have to be subdued because ultimately he would be Iron Man would have to be the winner, you know, the guy that takes him down. So I get that, but everyone just wanted that you know, revenge or whatever. So if they're like making him get like an end game new scenes, or we learned a bunch of things like from past video or movies that he was moving chess, it just sucks because we know what happened. The John Major thing happened and they had a not rush, but who knows how quick they moved. But they were thinking about recasting, they weren't, and the story just didn't move on. All these multiverse movies were setting up for Kang, and the incursions were under it a little bit with Multiverse of Madness talking about it mainly, but I don't think it's mentioned much anywhere else to my knowledge. But basically a lot was like the beacon that they talked about in the Shang-Chi. There was a lot of mystery going on, and a lot of it dealt with the multiverse. Loki set it all up. We got a bunch of movies about time travel, or not time travel, going through universes. So it was setting up all that with Kang's. We got after credit scenes with Kang. We got Kang playing Ant-Man 3, which I didn't like that idea, but hey, that's what they're doing. We were setting up this big storyline. So then we're going to put Doom in it, and it's like, okay, how do we connect all this to Doom? So maybe it's just have Doom come in and kill Kang somehow and be like, I'm doing this now. I don't know. It just seems kind of funky. This mastermind that moves his chess pieces. That's my favorite thing about Doom, man. He's so manipulative, and he's like 10 steps ahead of everybody. And he's always planning. He's always moving. He's building. He wins before even like the heroes know it. And that's one of the dopest things about Doom. And I think that's what like many long time comic book fans, I wouldn't say movie fans, but people that read Doom were kind of excited to see when he eventually came was going to be this big manipulative character that through time put the pieces to the point where he's going to be God Doom. With this, he's going to be manipulative in like one movie, we get that, but probably at the end he turns on all of them. So we get to see a little bit of his manipulating. They might throw some history behind it, how he started manipulating everybody or other things and stuff like that, because there's, again, we haven't seen the movie, there's a lot to be said, but and then we fall into the Reed Richards issue. I think people were upset about that they don't have history. You know, it sucks because his rivalry isn't with Avengers, but this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to take it. This is the way the movie's going to go. Their conflict is huge, and supposedly he knows Reed, but I don't think they could put that much into it and tell that much of a rivalry story while we're trying to set up Doomsday and Secret Wars. If they do, great, but I think it would affect the Doomsday movie and the Secret Wars movie if we had to add more layers of story of him and Reed had this past and they hated each other, now they're going to work together and all this stuff. So it kind of seems like we should have built a little history with him and Reed, so we got the payoff of Reed versus Doom. Especially Secret Wars should be ending with Reed beating him, not Loki beating him, but that's not gonna be the case because it's different. MCU, I understand things got to change, but and I always tell people I'm okay with little changes like that, and I think it's fine. But it does kind of suck that we're gonna lose that whole Reed and Doom dynamic of the ego, the jealousy, the competition, the respect, the intelligence, like all that between the two. And I think people might have saw that and kind of like were a little bummed out. But my thing is too, what I'm worried about, the biggest thing is what I'm worrying about is, I talked about how, like, you know, cool, we're going to show how powerful Doom is. That's great. Like, I'm so pumped. He looks badass in the trailer. But then he's going to move on to being the most powerful version of Doom we've ever seen. He's going to be God Doom in Battle World. Or Secret Wars, sorry. So after that, I think, where do we go? He gets defeated in Secret Wars. He was God Doom. What do we do after? Like, we didn't use him for little things to fight him, and then finally we see God Doom take the throne and take over. We're gonna see him get it in one movie and then get defeated in one movie. You can't tell me God Doom's gonna like win in Secret Wars and survive, or well, he'll survive maybe, but you're not gonna tell me that he's the winner. It's meant to relaunch the universe in a way. Even though Kevin Feige's backing up the whole, he said no reboot. Now he used to say reset. Now he's saying it's not really any of those. But you can't tell me that Doom's not going to be gone after this story. He might be in the background again or something, but Robert Downey Jr. is not getting any younger as well. They might have to cast a new Doctor Doom. I don't know. So us getting the most powerful Doctor Doom in his second outing is kind of like, just as a Doom fan, it kind of sucks because you're like, I want to see Doom hang around. I want to see him being, taking Silver Surfer's powers. and just a lot of cool things that he could do. And I feel like us throwing him in so quick, we have to show how powerful he is, but he didn't like build up to these little things with like Scarlet Witch. And it's like the nerfing thing, which I get, they do that in the movies, because like Scarlet Witch, they couldn't have her just shift reality in her first movie, but we get a little bit of stuff in, you know, Civil War, and then things come here and there, you know, with Infinity War, and we get to finally kind of see how powerful she is when she starts wrecking Thanos, and he changes the whole plan to just kill her. She's about to kill me. So then we get a glimpse of, oh my gosh, like this is the Scarlet Witch we're going towards. Then we get WandaVision, and she takes control of the whole town. So we're starting these steps that she could actually shift reality. And then we get to Multiverse of Madness, where she's losing her mind and she has the Darkhold. So we see her corrupted by the Darkhold, how powerful she is with it. So we kind of have this arc building to it that eventually they might bring her back just to shape the reality of the universe again. Who knows? But I think it's hard because they need to nerve people to tell the stories, right? Because if she could just shift reality in the beginning, she could just get rid of everyone in Civil War and be like, we're over. Or Infinity Gauntlet, no more Thanos, then it's over. So I think they have to just be careful with her. And I think with Doom it's kind of scary because we're on that same line where he's like so powerful. It's like, why are these Avengers even trying? Like, I get it, they're heroes and you have to try, but I know everyone's like, this team is weak, and everyone's like, they're supposed to be weak, they're supposed to lose. I get it, but it's like there's no hope for this team. Even if it was the full-on Hulk, Thor, everybody, this Doom is so powerful, it's ridiculous. Which I get, Doom is that dude, he is him. I get it 100%, but it's just the worrisome that we're gonna get him juiced out and then super juiced in the next one, and then what? Like, where do we go from there? And getting Doom like that and pulled away from us, I'm kind of worried that, man, like, we're just gonna use him for like a one-hit wonder for like 2 movies and that's it. Like, liking Doom so much, it kind of just sucks because I want to see more of him. And unfortunately, with them doing it like this, I think we're not going to get to see more of him like we would like to. And Doctor Doom is just so iconic, man. I would hate we only get him in 2 movies and then he gets recast or disappears, or I don't know what they'll do. But I mean, I hope Marvel pulls it all off. I really do. I really do. Because Doom deserves the best, dude. One of the greatest comic book villains ever. I also think fans should be allowed to question things, and, you know, have their worries about the journey and not be called haters and all this crap, because they're not shitting on the movie, or at least for the most part, people aren't shitting on the movie. They're just, wait a minute, I want the best out of this character. And people are like weird too, like, oh, it's just a movie, why do you care? It's bigger to some of us. To some of us, these characters mean something. I've told everybody before, it's my escape. It's an outlet for me. Like, someone like my mom would be like, why are you upset about a trailer? And it's like, just, you know, I wanted to feel hella excited and I don't. And she's like, it's just a movie, it's just a trailer. To me, it's not. It's just not. And maybe I look dumb for that, maybe I look silly for that, but it just means a lot, you know, these characters and stuff, this world, all the superheroes and worlds, even other movies, you know, they all mean a lot and help me cope with things, help me enjoy things. So when little things like are a little wrong, you're okay, I think, to feel a little indifferent and have questions about things. If you're slamming it and saying it's gonna be horrible, it's gonna do horrible, it's gonna be bad, Doom's gonna suck, I get being mad at those people, because that's not cool and that's not the kind of energy we want around these movies. But being worried about the future of how they're gonna treat them, how they're handling them, I think that's fine. I think with every character that's fine. I'm worried where Wolverine's gonna go after Hugh Jackman. I don't see any other actor being able to replace him. I'm worried where he's going to go. Are they going to de-age him? Is it going to be the young dude that they keep throwing around, forgot his name? He doesn't look like Wolverine to me, but is it for the long haul? I don't think people are going to buy it. How about Iron Man? Like, what's going to happen? Like, we recast him? People are going to just keep saying, I miss Robert Downey Jr. It has to happen. He's growing up. He's getting old. So I think people have worries about a lot of things, and Doom is just now thrown in front and center. If we got the new Iron Man in front and center right now, people would be questioning things. Some people would just say, suck it up, it's amazing. And some people would be like, I don't feel too comfortable about this, how they're acting or treating him, or he's not like Iron Man. They need to build him up differently or whatever. So I don't know. I just think it's fair to say each side of a proper debate is okay. Not, I hate you because of this and I hate you because of that. I think that's not needed or necessary. And I have tons of videos that I wanted to get done today, but I figured, hey, Comic-Con's coming or going on right now, so I'll probably have to make videos for that. of the news coming out with that, and I got to finish my Spider-Man series that I've been looking into or looking forward to a lot. And I was gonna do those every other day, but then I realized I need to space them out a little bit to get closer to Brand New Day. And yeah, so I was like, I just gotta do this video now. I wanted to wait because like Doomsday's not coming out forever, but it seems to be a real big hot topic right now with everyone getting upset. Every page I'm on, people are fighting and slamming people, and I think, again, people have the right to be concerned, people have the right to be excited, people have the right to just feel how they want to feel. Again, slamming each other both different ways is just stupid. There's no freaking point of it. Comparing villains to him that don't make sense, like Darth Vader, is just stupid. Why even bring that up as an argument? Why bring up other characters saying, oh, they don't need this setup? People can explain why they don't think the setup is right. That's fine. You could agree that or disagree that you think the setup's okay. That's fine. But you can let people say what they want to say. If they start acting aggressive and getting mad and angry, cool, cut them off. Don't talk to them anymore if that bugs you. But if someone like me, I'm trying to just have a healthy talk about it and why I'm worried and this and that, like I do with my friends. It is what it is, you know. It's things that we care about, and it's in our, you know, our bubble, our world. And I think it's okay. I think it's fine. Everyone could question everything. Not everything can line up perfectly, unfortunately. And not everything is perfect. There's a lot of flaws in tons of these movies. But I just think everyone holds Doctor Doom to super high on the pedestal. Super high. And for most people, they're just, I'm so excited he's here. He's super powerful. He's going to kick ass. Cool. I feel the same. But I worry about where's he going to go after this? Are we going to get God Doom? Then that's it. Why don't we build up a little bit for this, and this? Like, you know, a lot of the things that make Doom, it sucks. Like, we're not going to be able to really visit it. Like the Reed rivalry and what he did to go through Source 3. Because if we do go through those, you're going to slow down Doomsday and Secret Wars. A Doom solo movie would actually work. I don't think they'd ever do one, but I would watch it. I would make it like the Doctor Strange one where they go to, I believe, hell to get his mom or whatever, Triumph or whatever. I think that'd be a great story. So people would come in theaters that weren't well known with Doom. They'd come for Doctor Strange maybe. And comic fans would just eat that shit up. Would love it. So I think Doom is amazing character, has crazy history, great development, and it kind of sucks that we're not going to get to see a lot of that. And again, if they do bring it in, great, that's awesome, but I'm worried it's going to slow down the pace and the building of Doomsday and Secret Wars, because we only have so much time between those movies to set up a whole story about those and the incursions and all that. So unfortunately, Doom's story kind of is going to have to take a side. Besides, he wanted revenge, his family died, and he wants to take over the world, basically become a god, and get God Doom. And so that's where we're going, and that's where it's going to be, and we'll just see how it goes. We'll ride the ride. Hopefully it all works out okay. Hopefully there's a plan, some way that we get Doom back again. Maybe when the reboot happens, we'll get a different Doom story. I don't know, but I'm just saying, to be fair, it's okay. It's okay. People can have different opinions. You don't have to be mad. You don't have to sit there and give your reasons, and they can say, well, that doesn't work because of this, and this doesn't work because of that. And you can say, well, this seems like it would work. That's fine. You guys all can do that, and everyone can be okay. You don't need to spam people, go crazy, and get all pissy upset, leave comments, being pissed off. I get it's the internet, but let's fucking talk about this. Let's have a discussion, because it's fun. These are fun discussions. But the fact that you're just like, you're wrong, it's just stupid. Anyways, so that's where I'm coming out with it. My ring always makes that loud noise. Hopefully, yeah, we'll get more info. The Comic-Con is going on. I think X-Men's going to be the headliner of that. They're going to announce a lot of things with X-Men. Hopefully, if not, it'll be a waste of a Comic-Con for Marvel. DC, I heard skipping it, to my knowledge. James Gunn's skipping it. But yeah, so we'll see if Comic-Con brings any more Doom news. There should be a new Doom trailer, I've heard the rumors and how it looks and all this and that. But get off the Steve Hydra, please. Everybody get off Steve Hydra. Cap Hydra. Get off it. It's not gonna happen. It's too much to add in the story for this story to happen. It will like totally take over the story, and it just wouldn't make it right. I do think it's weird that how are Winter Soldier and Falcon gonna react to him being alive, because they do look like pretty like calm and like whatever when he's in the room. You think they lose their mind, try to hug him, or be like hella pissed? I don't know. So who knows what's going on with that? That's an interesting story. I want to know with Cap coming back. But yeah, so we'll see how everything goes. Hopefully Comic-Con gives us more news, and I'm gonna upload this now, and hopefully people can talk about it.